Hey YouTube, Twig here, bringing you all an update to my Artmage Yugioh deck profile for post-Doom of Dimensions. We had some small support in the Doom of Dimensions booster set, but I'm very excited for the fact that in the Burst Protocol booster pack, we are getting more main support for the Artmage deck, but we're not getting that booster set until February, so I figured until then I would update the deck for the changes that I've made since the last update from Duelist Advance with the newer support we received in the latest Yu-Gi-Oh! Booster Pack, being kind of like a new storyline, like the Vices Starfrost story. This storyline focusing on Medius the Pure and the Artmage cards. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So we'll go ahead and start off with the main deck monsters. Our main go-to monster in the main deck is Medius the Pure, running 3 copies of this card. If it's normal or special summon, you can add to your hand or special summon 1 Power Patron monster from your deck. If this card's in your graveyard, you can shuffle 1 monster from your hand or face up on the field into the deck and special summon this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. You can only use this effect of Medius once per turn, so it's mostly in here to set up fusion materials for you to be able to use for your many different Artmage monsters that we go into, and that setup plays into the other decks that Medius is meant to be a role in as well. I think we got the Doom Z deck in this latest set as well, which I will be doing a deck profile on that as well, so look forward to it. But once again, Medius is just in here for being used with a good majority of the hard text cards in the deck to use, so definitely a 3 of count. We're also running 3 copies of Artmage Litera. You take no damage from battles involving this card. You can only use each effect of Artmage Litera once per turn. If you control an Artmage card, you can special summon this card from your hand. Then you can add 1 Artmage card from your graveyard to your hand. And during your opponent's main phase, quick effect, you can special summon an Artmage monster from your hand or a graveyard except for Litera. Then return this card from the field to the hand. So the bounce back power is just meant to then be able to reuse Litera on top of setting up another monster for you to have on the field to use for some of your other fusion plays. A definite 3 of just being one of the easier monsters to summon out onto the field as well, with some of the lower numbers for our Artmage monsters being the 2 copies of Artmage Finmel. Your opponent cannot target level 6 or lower Artmage monsters you control with card effects. You can only use each of the following effects of Finmel once per turn. If you control an Artmage card, you can special summon this card from your hand, then you can draw 1 card. And during the main phase, if you have 3 or more different monster types on your field, quick effect, you can negate the effects of all face-up monsters your opponent currently controls. Also, until the end of this turn, their attacks become halved, so you can use Finmel for more of a hand setup while also being able to weaken your opponent's monsters with this card as more of another setup card, just being able to have this card be a special summon card if you have another Artmage card on the field, like Litera, to then be able to use. And then the other Artmage cards include the 2 copies of Artmage Yugioh. The first time this card be destroyed by battle each turn, it is not destroyed. You can only use each of the following effects of Artmage Yugioh once per turn. If you control an Artmage card, you can special summon this card from your hand, and you can set 1 Artmage spell from your deck. You can target a spell or trap your opponent controls and destroy it. And if this card is a quick effect, if you have 3 or more different monsters on your field, so setup after setup with each different Artmage monster just gives you more and more additional powered up benefits for each card to use. Yugioh being the biggest point of this, because if you summon out Litera with your main normal phase and then the special summon of Finmel, the last summon being your Yugioh gives you another monster on the field to then set up your spells, which we have plenty of other Artmage spells in the deck that can be set and then activated within the same turn as well, including from the newest pack Artmage Movement Pedigree as one of those cards for another special summon of another Artmage monster. And then the last of the Artmage cards include the Power Patron monster, which we summon off of Medius himself, being our Artmage Power Patron. You cannot special summon from the extra deck except fusion monsters. You can only use each of the following effects of Power Patron once per turn. During the main phase, quick effect, you can fusion summon an Artmage Fusion or 1 Nerva, the Power Patron of Creation, from your extra deck using this card you control and monsters from your hand or field. If this card is sent from the hand or field of the graveyard, you can add 1 Artmage spell or trap from your deck to your hand with a different name from the cards in your graveyard. So once again, restricting your fusion plays, but still having the option to go into cards like Nerva and Diactorus. It is mostly your answer to fusion summoning in the deck. So this card, along with its summon of being able to special summon out your Power Patron with Medius from the deck, gives you your fusion play just with the 1 card. So the main important play in the deck is to be able to set up Medius with the other cards we run in the main deck. And then the hand traps that we run just are the 3 copies of Ash Blossom just for the monster lineup. We do run Infinite Impermanence for the trap lineup as well, but having the mix of Earth, Light, and Dark monsters makes the Dominance lineup a little more difficult to run in the deck along with the other cards. But for these spells, we're running 3 of the field spell, being Artmage, Academic, Arcane Arts, Acropolis. During your main phase, you can normal summon 1 Medius the Pure, in addition to your normal summoner set. You're going to gain this effect once per turn, and you can discard a spell or trap and declare 1 Artmage monster card, name that is not among the monsters you control, and has not been declared for Artmage, Academic, Arcane Arts, Acropolis this turn. Add that monster from your deck to your hand. Also, you can special summon for the rest of this turn, except for Artmage monsters, Medius the Pure, or from the extra deck. So, just being able to have the special summon restriction on this card, it's meant to set up more and more of your Artmage cards on the field, but also give you a normal summon for Medius while not taking up your other normal summon for your Artmage cards, because there are some better Artmage cards you'd want to set up for your normal summon while still being able to get Medius out with his Power Patron play. And also, we're running 3 copies of Artmage Varnish Alteration. Place 1 Artmage Academic Arcane Arts Acropolis from your deck or graveyard face up in your field zone. Or if you control Artmage Academic Arcane Arts Acropolis, you can add an Artmage card from your deck to your hand. So having the field spell gives you the added search for another Artmage card. And then also, when an Artmage monster is targeted for an attack, you can banish this card from your graveyard to negate that attack. Then you can special summon 1 Medius the Pure from your hand. And you're going to use the effect of Varnish Alteration once per turn. But another way just to grab out Medius, which just needs to be special summoned for its card effect, to then grab your Power Patron monster as well from the deck to then special summon out on the field also. The new card that I mentioned earlier being the Artmage Movement Pedigree, 2 copies of this card as well. If your opponent controls more cards than you do, special summon 1 Artmage monster from your deck in defense with a different name than the cards you control. And if it's sent to the graveyard to activate the effect of an Arcane Academic Arts Arcane Acropolis, you can add 1 Artmage trap from your graveyard or banishment to your hand. And you're going to use each effect of Pedigree once per turn, and you cannot special summon from the extra the turn you activate this, except for fusion monsters, which once again isn't really a lockdown since fusion is one of the bigger plays we need to use in the deck, but being able to just grab another Artmage card on the field can be the setup we need for either Graflair or Finmel to be able to summon out and use with the additional Artmage monsters we control. Don't forget, you can have those 3 different names, not just with the Littera, the Finmel, and the Graflair. You can use Medius to fusion summon out Diactorus, which is also an Artmage monster to use also, which we'll go over when we get to the extra deck. And 2 copies of Artmage Vandalism Assault. When this card's activated, you can add 1 Medius the Pure from your deck to your hand. You can target a face-up monster you control. If that face-up monster be used as fusion material, it can be treated as an Artmage monster. You can use this effect of Artmage Vandalism Assault once per turn. If an Artmage Arcane Arts Acropolis you control be destroyed by a card effect, you can send this card you control to the graveyard instead. So having these specific names for your Artmage cards as well helps with cards like Nerva, the Power Patron of Creation, because it needs 3 Artmage monsters to be able to summon this card out. So being able to change the name of Medius to an Artmage card gives you that use and then extra protection with this continuous spell. And then some of the lower numbers we run include some of the Theorealize spells and the last of the Artmage, which is Artmage Masterwork Succession, having the fusion summon play in the form of a quick play spell. The 1 Theorealize Overdrive being one of the other new spells from the Doom of Dimension set, having a special summon option from the graveyard or banish for Medius, and then the last being the original Theorealize, being able to send your Medius from the deck to the graveyard and give you more of a setup from the additional cards from the top of your extra deck to use. More of the generic spells we run include the 3 copies of Fusion Deployment, once again restricting us for fusion plays, but having Medius on Artmage Diactorus just gives us a special summon from the main deck of Medius to then use on the field. And then the last of the spells being 1 Triple Tactics Talent and 1 Call by the Grave, more of the generic lineup to use for the rest of the spells in the main deck. For the traps, running 2 copies of Artmage Pact Awakening, special summon an Artmage monster or Medius the Pure from your deck. Also for the rest of this turn, the activation of your cards and effects that include an effect that fusion summons cannot be negated. Also, your opponent cannot activate card or effects when a fusion monster is summoned this way. And you can banish this card from your graveyard to target an Artmage monster you control, return it to the hand or extra deck, and then destroy 1 card your opponent controls. Having a destruction effect on top of a special summon effect just works well for the trap reaction of being able to use this card on your opponent's turn as well. And then the new trap being Artmage Perpetua Turmoil. You target 1 monster in your opponent's graveyard, return an Artmage monster you control to the hand, hand or extra deck and special summon that target to your field, but negates effects. And if it's sent to the graveyard to activate the effect of an Artmage Acropolis, you can add one Artmage spell. Working kind of in reverse to the newer Artmage card we got, having the Pedigree set up traps and then Turmoil, vice versa. And taking your opponent's monsters means we can also use that monster and change its name to an Artmage card to then have our opponent's monsters also be used for Nerva, the Power Patron of Creation also. And then the last of the traps just being the 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence for the hand trap choice, along with Ash Blossom and Joy Spring. The one card I didn't run in the main deck, which if you wanted to run, you can drop down the Thea Realize and the Artmage Masterwork Succession spells down and run Super Polymerization in this spot as just another way to use our opponent's fusion cards in the extract. But that's player preference there. If you want to use any of those cards in the main deck, along with the traps that we have as well. For the extra deck, we're running the 2 copies of Artmage Diactorus, needing the Medius the Pure and the 1 Artmage monster. You can target 1 monster on the field, change its battle position, and then when your opponent activates a card or effect on the field, if you have 3 or more different monster types on your field, quick effect, you can negate the activation and destroy that card. And if this fusion summon card is destroyed, you can special summon 1 Medius the Pure from your hand and or deck or banishment, giving you that monster back on the field to be able to reuse again, but also having that disruption card with the same playstyle of your other Artmage cards as well, using the added monsters to be able to do so, and then having the fusion summon option of those monsters also. And then our bigger boss monster being Nerva, the Power Patron, needing 3 Artmage monsters. It must either be fusion summon or special summon from your extra deck in defense by attributing 3 monsters with different types. You can only special summon Nerva, the Power Patron of Creation, once per turn this way. And while a card is in your field zone, it cannot be destroyed by card effects once per turn. When you activate an Artmage monster, quick effect, you can make the activated effect becomes destroy all cards your opponent controls. So then the added destruction power on top of the ease of fusion summoning this card out with the tributes of those cards as well, to then use for the summon for those cards, and then the added summon for your other monsters as well. The other fusion monsters we run include the 1 Mysterion, the Dragon Crown, the 2 Garura, the Wings of Resonant Life, and the 2 Dracostapelia, and the 1 Mud Dragon of the Swamp. A good number of other fusions. The big way to summon out these cards for the fusion play, because our Power Patron, it limits us to the Artmage fusion summons, and then having the added setup, we can use our Artmage Masterwork Succession for the summon, or if you wanted to, most of the time these cards will be the engine used for the Super Polymerization spots, which once again, if you want to run Super Polymerization in the main deck, just take out the Thea Realize spells for those spots for Super Polymerization as well. And then the Link monsters being 1 Nightmare Phoenix, the 1 IP Masquerena, 1 Donner Dagger for Hire, 1 Lena the Light Charmer, 1 Nightmare Unicorn, and then 1 of the new Gorgon of Zilthonia for the rest of the Link monsters in the extra deck as well. And then as for some of the go-to plays in the deck, the main setup and big setup for the deck is our Field Spell, Artmage, Academic, Arcane Arts, because 1, we have the additional normal summon of Medius with this card, but the discard of our Spell and Trap can help to vice versa set up what we need. So with the 2 newest cards we have in the deck being the discard cost for our Field Spell, not only can they vice versa set up the other card respectively on the field for you to use, it also gives us the additional Artmage monster for our ad that we have for a monster on the field. So if we have our Litera as one of those monsters, declaring that monster that we do not control for that ad, we can have either or of the other 2 monsters that we mentioned as well for those summons. If they're a special summon from the hand, then we can use the field spell after the discard, which will set up our other card on the field to then give us our 3rd Artmage monster, and then be able to use those 3 monsters if we don't have Medius to set up the Power Patron to then distribute out to give us our Nerva, the Power Patron of Creation, for the Tribute Fusion summon on the field to be able to do so. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed. Like I said, this card in deck is a really fun fusion aspect, and the fact that we have more support revealed for it makes it all the better in the Burst Protocol booster set. But I hope you all enjoyed the update to the deck until then, and as always, until next time, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and Kira Twig out.